Step into a world of romance and mystery with Tamora Rose, where candlelight flickers against stone walls, secrets linger in the shadows, and every glance between two souls carries the promise of something undeniable. When readers fall in love with a romance, they're not just falling in love with the story, they're falling for a feeling. That quiet, electric pull between two characters. That kind that makes your chest tighten just a little. That keeps you turning pages long past the hour you meant to stop. Chemistry is the heartbeat of that experience. It's what transforms a simple love story into something immersive, something unforgettable. Without it, even the most beautiful setting or intriguing plot can feel hollow. With it, even the smallest moment, a shared look, a brush of hands, can feel monumental. But here's the truth. Chemistry isn't something you can simply declare. You can't write, "They were drawn to each other," and expect your reader to feel it. Chemistry has to be built, layered, and revealed through moments that feel real enough to touch. At its core, chemistry is tension. It's the space between desire and restraint. It's what happens when two people want something, whether they admit it or not, and something stands in their way. Before you can even begin to create that spark, though, you need characters who can carry it. Because chemistry doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists between people who feel fully alive on their own. Each of your romantic leads needs to matter individually. They need desires that drive them and flaws that complicate them and a voice that feels distinctly theirs. When a reader connects with each character separately, the connection between those characters becomes that much more powerful. Think about it this way. If one character exists only to complete the other, the relationship feels hollow. But when both stand strong on their own, their coming together feels like a choice, one that carries weight and risk and meaning. And once you have those characters, that's where the real magic begins. Because chemistry thrives on tension, not just conflict for the sake of conflict, but that delicious push and pull between what your characters want and what they allow themselves to have. Maybe their goals are at odds. Maybe they're forced into close quarters, a carriage ride that lasts too long, a shared task that keeps drawing them back together, or maybe even a circumstance neither can escape. Maybe the barrier is internal, old wounds or guarded hearts or fears they haven't yet named. Whatever the source, tension gives chemistry its shape. It turns simple attraction into something layered, something that simmers instead of burns out too quickly. And nowhere does that tension come alive more vividly than in dialogue. The way your characters speak to each other should feel charged, even in the smallest exchanges. A line of playful banter can carry as much weight as a confession. A pause in conversation can say more than words ever could. What they don't say matters just as much as what they do. Subtext becomes your most powerful tool. The hidden meanings beneath their words, the things they're afraid to admit. Those are the moments that pull your reader deeper into that connection. Over time, you can even build a language that belongs only to them. Inside jokes and shared phrases, the kind of familiarity that feels intimate, without ever needing to be explained. But chemistry isn't just heard. It's felt in the smallest detail. It lives in awareness, in the way one character notices something they shouldn't. How the other smiles, the sound of their voice, the way their presence shifts the room. It's the almost touch, the moment their hands nearly meet, but don't. Sometimes that almost is more powerful than the actual contact. Because what matters isn't just the physical detail. It's what that detail means to the character experiencing it. Why does that moment linger? Why does it unsettle them? Why can't they look away? When you layer that physical awareness with emotional resonance, the connection becomes something deeper. It stops becoming surface level attraction and becomes something that matters. And that's where patience becomes your greatest ally. One of the most common mistakes in romance is rushing that connection, letting characters leap too quickly from meeting to confession, or from tension to resolution. But chemistry needs space to breathe. So delay that kiss. Interrupt the moment. Let one character step back just when everything feels like it's about to change for the better. This isn't about frustrating your reader. It really isn't, I promise. It's about drawing them in, making them want it just as much as your characters do. Because when the moment finally comes, it won't just feel satisfying. It'll feel earned. Of course, chemistry doesn't exist in isolation from the world around your characters. Setting plays a powerful role in shaping how that connection unfolds. A candlelit ballroom can turn a simple dance into something charged with possibility. A storm can heighten emotions, stripping away pretense. A quiet library can make a single glance feel scandalous. Even the most ordinary of spaces, like a kitchen or a stable or an archive, can become intimate when shared between two people who are beginning to see each other differently. The atmosphere you create should either mirror what your characters feel or contrast it in a way that deepens the moment. Either way, it becomes part of the chemistry itself. But perhaps the most important element, the one that transforms attraction into something lasting, is vulnerability. True connection happens when characters allow themselves to be seen. When the guarded one reveals a memory they've never shared. When the sharp-tongued one lets their defenses fall. When the confident one admits to something fragile or something uncertain. These moments don't need to be grand. In fact, the quieter they are, the more powerful they can become. Because vulnerability is what tells your reader this is different. This connection matters. And when both characters are changed by that connection, when they become more honest and more open, more themselves because of each other, that's when chemistry becomes something unforgettable. Of course, there are pitfalls along the way. Telling instead of showing. Forcing attraction that hasn't been earned yet. Skipping the build-up and jumping straight to the payoff. Or worse, making that connection feel one-sided, as though only one character is truly invested. These are the things that break the illusion, that pull your reader out of the story instead of drawing them deeper in. But when you take the time to build your characters, to layer tension, to craft dialogue that feels alive, or to weave in atmosphere and vulnerability, you can create something that goes beyond a simple romance. You create moments that feel electric, intimate, real. You'll create moments that linger, and that, ultimately, is the goal. Because the most powerful love stories aren't the ones that simply tell us two people belong together. They're the ones that make us feel it in every glance, every word, every silence in between. They're the stories that stay with us long after the final page is turned, whispering that somewhere, in some world, that kind of connection might just be possible. That's it for today. Tell me, what's your favorite slow burn romance that absolutely nailed the chemistry? Until we meet again, may your days be filled with passion and just a touch of magic.